that verse, smaranta smarantascha. It says, by remembering, causing other people to remember. Mita Gauga Haram Harim means mita, when they come together to discuss, remind others and remember and make other people remember. Mita Gauga Haram Harim means Auga Aga. Aga Oga. The Aga means the horrible sinful reactions. Oga Haram Harim, that's the name of Krishna. Means he takes away all the residual sinful reactions. For one, bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya means from one kind of bhakti you progress to the next level of bhakti by that kind of discussion. Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Goswami in the science of the absolute truth. Text 1. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who has unlimited wonderful opulences. By his mercy, even a person born as the lowest man can spread the science of devotional service. No. All glories to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya. And all glories to all the devotees of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. While Sanatana Goswami was imprisoned in Bengal, a letter arrived from Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur informs us that this letter from Rupa Goswami to Sanatana Goswami is mentioned by the annotator of the Udbhata Chandrika. Srila Rupa Goswami wrote a note to Sanatana Goswami from Bakla. This note indicated that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was coming to Mathura, and it stated, Yadupate qua gata Mathura puri, Raghupate qua gatotra koshala, iti vachintya karusva mana stiram, nasat idam jagat ityavadharaya. Where has the Mathura Puri of Yadupati gone? Where has the northern Koshala of Raghupati gone? By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking the universe is not eternal. When Sanatana Goswami received this note from Rupa Goswami, he became very pleased. He immediately went to the jail superintendent, who is a meat eater, and spoke as follows. Sanatana Goswami told the Muslim jail keeper, Dear sir, you are a saintly person and are very fortunate. You have full knowledge of the revealed scriptures, such as the Quran and similar books. If one releases a conditioned soul or imprisoned person according to religious principles, he himself is also released from material bondage by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It appears from this statement that Sanatana Goswami, who was formerly a minister of the Nawab, was trying to cheat the Muslim superintendent. A jail superintendent had only an ordinary education, or practically no education, and he was certainly not supposed to be very advanced in spiritual knowledge. But just to satisfy him, Sanatana Goswami praised him as a very learned scholar of the scriptures. The jail keeper could not deny that he was a learned scholar, because when one is elevated to an exalted position, one thinks oneself fit for that position. Sanatana Goswami was correctly explaining the effects of spiritual activity, and the jail keeper connected his statements with his release from jail. There are innumerable conditioned souls rotting in the material world, imprisoned by Maya under the spell of sense gratification. The living entity is so entranced by the spell of Maya that in conditioned life, even a pig feels satisfied. There are two kinds of covering powers exhibited by Maya. One is called prakshepatmika, and the other is called avaranatmika. When one is determined to get out of material bondage, the prakshepatmika shakti, the spell of diversion, impels one to remain in conditioned life fully satisfied by sense gratification. Due to the other power, avaranatmika, a conditioned soul feels satisfied even if he is rotting in the body of a pig or a worm in stool. To release a conditioned soul from material bondage is very difficult, because the spell of Maya is so strong. Even when the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself descends to deliver conditioned souls, asking them to surrender unto him, the conditioned souls do not agree to the Lord's proposal. Therefore, Sri Sanatana Goswami said, somehow or other, if one helps another gain release from the bondage of Maya, he is certainly recognized immediately by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 1869, Nacha tasmad manusheshu kashyan me priyakritama, bhavita nacha me tasmad anya priyataro bhuvi. The greatest service one can render to the Lord is to try to infuse devotional service into the heart of the conditioned soul, so that the conditioned soul may be released from conditioned life. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that a Vaishnava is recognized by his preaching work. That is, by convincing the conditioned soul about the eternal position, which is explained here as Nija Dharma. It is the living entity's eternal position to serve the Lord. Therefore, to help one get release from material bondage is to awaken one to the dormant understanding that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupoi Krishnara Nityadas. This will be further explained by the Lord himself to Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami continued, previously I have done much for you. Now I am in difficulty. Please return my goodwill by releasing me. Here are 5,000 gold coins. Please accept them. By releasing me, you will receive the results of your pious activities and gain material profit as well. Thus you will profit in two ways simultaneously. In this way, Sanatana Goswami convinced the jailkeeper, who replied, please hear me, my dear sir. I am willing to release you, but I am afraid of the government. Sanatana replied, there is no danger. The Nawab has gone to the south. If he returns, tell him that Sanatana went to Pastul near the bank of the Ganges, and that as soon as he saw the Ganges, he jumped in. Tell him I looked for him for a long time, but I could not find any trace of him. He jumped in with his shackles, and therefore he was drowned and washed away by the waves. There is no reason for you to be afraid, for I shall not remain in this country. I shall become a mendicant and go to the holy city of Mecca. Sanatana Goswami could see that the mind of the meat eater was still not satisfied. He then stacked 7,000 gold coins before him. When the meat eater saw the coins, he was attracted to them. He then agreed, and that night he cut Sanatana's shackles and let him cross the Ganges. In this way, Sanatana Goswami was released. However, he was not able to walk along the path of the fortress. Walking day and night, he finally arrived at the hilly tract of land known as Patada. After reaching Patada, he met a landholder and submissively requested him to get him across that hilly tract of land. A man who was expert in palmistry was at that time staying with the landlord. Knowing about Sanatana, he whispered the following to the landlord's ear. The palmist said, this man Sanatana possesses 8 gold coins. Hearing this, the landlord was very pleased and spoke as follows, the following to Sanatana Goswami. The landlord said, I shall get you across that hilly tract tonight, at night, with my own men. Now just cook for yourself and take your lunch. Saying this, the landlord offered Sanatana grain to cook. Sanatana then went to the riverside and took his bath. Because Sanatana had been fasting for 2 days, he cooked the food and ate it. However, having formerly been a minister of the Nawab, he began to contemplate the situation. As a former minister for the Nawab, Sanatana could certainly understand diplomacy. He therefore thought, why is this landlord offering me such respect? Thinking in this way, he questioned his servant, whose name was Ishana. Sanatana asked his servant, Ishana, I think you have some valuable things with you. Ishana replied, yes, I have 7 gold coins. Hearing this, Sanatana Goswami chastised his servant, saying, why have you brought this death knell with you? Thereupon, Sanatana Goswami took the 7 gold coins in his hands and went to the landlord. Holding the gold coins before him, he spoke as follows. I have these 7 gold coins with me. Please accept them. And from a religious point of view, please get me across that hilly tract of land. I am a prisoner of the government, and I cannot go along the way of the ramparts. It will be very pious of you to take this money and kindly get me across this hilly tract of land. Smiling, the landlord said, before you offered them, I already knew that there were 8 gold coins in your servant's possession. On this very night, I would have killed you and taken your coins. It is very good that you have voluntarily offered them to me. I am now relieved from such a sinful activity. I am very satisfied with your behavior. I shall not accept these gold coins, but I shall get you across that hilly tract of land simply to perform a pious activity. Sanatana Goswami replied, if you do not accept these coins, someone else will kill me for them. It is better that you save me from the danger by accepting the coins. After this settlement was made, the landlord gave Sanatana Goswami 4 watchmen to accompany him. They went through the forest path for the whole night, and thus brought him over the hilly tract of land. After crossing the hills, Sanatana told his servant Ishana, I think you still have some balance left from the gold coins. Ishana replied, I still have 1 gold coin in my possession. Sanatana Goswami then said, take the coin and return to your home. After departing from Ishana, Sanatana Goswami began traveling alone with a water pot in his hand, simply covered with a torn quilt. He thus lost all his anxiety. That's one of my favorite verses, because just the whole journey into spiritual life and the anxiety of breaking away, everyone has some complexity. When he gets to this pivotal point, everything left behind, simply covered with a torn quilt, he thus lost all his anxiety. Chindakanta nirbhaya ila, he became free from anxiety. Walking and walking, Sanatana Goswami finally arrived at a place called Hajipur. That evening he sat down within a garden. In Hajipur there was a gentleman named Srikanta, who happened to be the husband of Sanatana Goswami's sister. He was engaged there in government service. Srikanta had 300,000 gold coins with him, which had been given to him by the emperor for the purchase of horses. Thus Srikanta was buying horses and dispatching them to the emperor. When Srikanta was sitting in an elevated place, he could see Sanatana Goswami. That night he took a servant and went to see Sanatana Goswami. When they met, they had many conversations. Sanatana Goswami told him in detail about his arrest and release. Srikanta then told Sanatana Goswami, stay here for at least 2 days and dress up like a gentleman. Abandon these dirty garments. Sanatana Goswami replied, I shall not stay here even for a moment. Please help me cross the Ganges. I shall leave immediately. With great care, Srikanta gave him a woolen blanket and helped him cross the Ganges. Thus Sanatana Goswami departed again. After a few days, Sanatana Goswami arrived at Varanasi. He was very pleased to hear about Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival there. Sanatana Goswami then went to the house of Chandrasekhar and sat down by the door. Understanding what was happening, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu spoke to Chandrasekhar. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, there is a devotee at your door. Please call him in. Going outside, Chandrasekhar could not see a Vaishnava at his door. When Chandrasekhar informed the Lord that there was no Vaishnava at the door, the Lord asked him, is there anyone at all at your door? Chandrasekhar replied, there is a Muslim mendicant. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said, please bring him here. Chandrasekhar then spoke to Sanatana Goswami, who was still sitting beside the door. O Muslim mendicant, please come in. The Lord is calling you. Sanatana Goswami was very pleased to hear this order, and he entered Chandrasekhar's home. As soon as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu saw Sanatana Goswami in the courtyard, he immediately went up to him with great haste. After embracing him, the Lord was overwhelmed with ecstatic love. As soon as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu touched Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana was overwhelmed with ecstatic love. In a faltering voice he said, "Oh my Lord, do not touch me." Shoulder to shoulder, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami began to cry unlimitedly. Chandrasekhar was very much astonished to see this. Catching his hand, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu took Sanatana Goswami inside and made him sit on an elevated place next to him. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu began cleansing Sanatana Goswami's body with his own transcendental hand, Sanatana Goswami said, "Oh my Lord, please do not touch me." The Lord replied, "I am touching you just to purify myself, because by the force of your devotional service, you can purify the whole universe. Bhavad vida bhagavatas tirta bhuta swayam vivo, tirta kurvanti tirtani swantakstena gadavrita. I will take a few reflections or questions. Oh, nobody has any. Okay, I'll keep going. All right, Nanda.
Would you be able to kindly explain the cryptic message that Rupa Goswami sent to Sanatana and that he understood to get out of town? That Lord Chaitanya was...
Isn't it explained somewhere? Not that we've read so far, but
we haven't read it so
an
far. I
it.
expected it to be...
No, but there is somewhere, right?
Okay.
Yeah, well, Prabhupada talks about it somewhere, but let's see. Hold on. I'm going back to it. It's way back, isn't it? Do you know where it is? Here it is. Where has the Mathura Puri of Yadupati gone? Where has the northern Koshala of Raghupati gone? By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking the universe is not eternal. No, I can't break it down exactly, but it was, I know it's, Prabhupada explains it somewhere, and it has to do with him, giving it's like coordinates where Lord Chaitanya is, and make your mind steady to just get out of jail. Do a search and see if you can find where it is unpacked. We'll research that, Nanda. Thank you. Another point or question? Three, two, one. Okay, no more questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
I have a question. There is a mention of Sanatana Goswami's sister. Did you hear anything or read about Sanatana? Looks like Rupa, Sanatana, Anupam, and one sister, or there is more in the family members?
I don't know. Bhakti Ratnakar or something might have it. I'll ask our historian. Any other family members? Brother, sister. There's more. He's going to look into it.
We'll check. I had one point from the previous section. I very much appreciate how Prabhupada was stressing. It was on the part of when Lord Chaitanya was describing the Bhakti Lata and the different obstacles on its development. And Srila Prabhupada explained that we should always look for association with pure devotees and stay in that association. That's the main desire we should have, even if it's life or after life. And even, he said, in our society, if we think that they are not pure devotees, even he used stronger words, that they're imposters or something, then we should look for the association with the spiritual master, but we should stay in the association. And I remember the lecture I heard these days, Prabhupada was saying that again, the same point, we should stay among the association with devotees in the society, and even if there are discrepancies, we should adjust, but never leave.
It's very helpful, isn't it? Yeah. Because we can develop a sense of being more noble than others because of breaking off and not participating in the heresies and things like that. Whereas Prabhupada's viewpoint was there are always going to be anomalies. Just stay in the society of devotees, no matter what happens. Very helpful. Thanks for bringing it up. Okay, let's see if there's any more. Last chances.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. In text 205 translation, although Krishna is beyond sense perception and is unmanifest to human beings, he takes up the guise of a human being with a material body. My understanding is that based on Prabhupada's purport, Krishna's body is always spiritual, not material.
Yeah, it's all his energy. So as you mentioned earlier, whatever form he appears in, it's all spiritual. Although for the common person, it appears that he's taking up an ordinary position in the material world. Kunti says, Maya javani kachanam agnadhoksa jamaviryam na lakshashe mudhadrisha nato natya daroyata. You're like an actor on a stage, and you are in costume, and we can't recognize you sometimes. However, Krishna, when he's in Maushala Leela, leaving the world for the edification of the atheists, he does leave behind a material body, because that way they'll have their day in court. Gives them an opportunity to find fault and say, actually, see, he was material. But no, you're right. His body is Satchidananda Vigraha. It's never material. Yes? Sri Ram Prabhu.
Sanatana Goswami has glorified this jailer, actually, he's telling, and also there was some kind of diplomacy played by Sanatana Goswami in this whole episode. While distributing books also, people ask if it is for some philanthropical activities we give more money than directly for books. And we tell things like, okay, we're doing activity here and we're constructing temple. So there was a thin line between diplomacy and telling straight, just some confusion. When we're doing books, we directly tell the books, or we should have some, we can also add something like how he was adding something to come out of jail.
Well, when distributing books and asking donations for something other than that related to the book, one may become nauseous after some time. Because there's no challenge to that, and it's also kind of off point. We're not begging for money. We don't need their money. And I personally feel that it's best to be ultra straightforward with people. And when you are, then you have more potency. I like to tell people, we don't need the money. It's for you to give. It's your penance. It's your tapasya to give something so you can read the book. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand it. That's so stark and sort of the last thing they expected. Because with beggars, they're always trying to make up some excuse why it's a good idea and why we really need the money. And then they're in the power position to give or not give. But when you tell them, I don't need your money. This is for you to donate, so you can get the sukriti in order to understand the book. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand it. And then I like that better. And years ago, I heard about this devotee in Russia who gave everyone complete free will. He'd tell people, you can give for the book or not give for the book, and I'm still going to give it to you. And he really meant it. He didn't do it as a technique. And then he gave them freedom to do it. So they're using their free will to give or not give. Not try to trick them or say, oh, it's for starving babies or something like that. Who are you? You won't give for a baby? And when he gave them free will like that, he said it was amazing how much spiritual power he experienced. And said some people didn't give, but then other people gave way more. And then I started doing it myself, and it's a much more exhilarating experience. And then I found people, because they realized I was sincere, it wasn't a ploy. they'd come chasing after me. It's like, we changed our mind. Because you did it like that, we're going to do it. People really notice that. So I favor that kind of idea. Anyway, it's much more purifying for the distributor to go out on a ledge like that and be very straightforward with it. It's actually, those other kind of things really made me sick. They're boring as anything. Helping people in Bangladesh or something like that, you know. Yes, Gopinath.
I found some explanation to that verse, the notes from Rupa Goswami.
We've got our research team in here working overtime.
It says that Yadupati is a name for Lord Krishna. That's the start of the verse. Then it mentions Mathura. Then it mentions Lord Ram and Kaushal, where he's another place he's from. And then Sanatana Goswami understood from this that because Krishna and Ram in this yuga have come as Mahaprabhu, then Mahaprabhu is on his way to Mathura. It doesn't explain why he knew it was Mathura rather than Kaushal, but this last line of the verse also says this universe is not eternal, and this is also, I guess, inspiring to him because Mahaprabhu came to free us from the prison of the material world, which is not eternal, temporary prison.
Way to go, Gopinath. Big points. Come on, give it up. And send that to the WhatsApp. We have an R&D WhatsApp. We want to keep track of these things. Ekachakra will take it. Okay, last one. And it's Nanda.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
This
Krishna.
is in relation to the last part of Mahendra's comment about Srila Prabhupada explaining the different stages and how to get out of the material world. Okay. So there was an incident with Srila Prabhupada, and I believe it was Aitreya Rishi, but you could correct me if I'm wrong, that he once in his beginning stages of devotional service, he wrote to Prabhupada complaining, Prabhupada, everybody's in Maya here. And Prabhupada's response was, show me where there's no Maya, and we will all go there.
Haribo. It was Aitreya Rishi. And then he also apparently complained about how leaders were quarreling. And Prabhupada said, don't look for utopia. He said there's not utopia even in the spiritual world. He said there are anomalies there too. He said sometimes out of bewilderment after seeing Srimati Radharani, Krishna milks a bull instead of a cow. And he said sometimes the gopis don't dress properly because they're so eager to go see Krishna, they just run out the door and throw on whatever they can. He said, so you could find fault. That's not perfect. So he said, Prabhupada said, there's always some anomaly, so don't look for the perfection. And all living entities are individuals, so they're going to have different points of view. He said, your idea of Shanti and no quarrel, he said, that's Mayavad. It's an impersonalist view that we'll all just be Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Well, we did it. It wasn't easy, but we passed our goal. I don't know why it wasn't easy, because we're going by words, so it should be the same amount, but it seemed like a little more of a slog, but maybe because I took some longer breaks and conversations and stuff. But it was a good day all in all, don't you think? Yes. A banner day, in fact. It's amazing. So now we're going to, if you agree, so democracy here, if you agree, we can perform the ceremony for offering a lamp, and we'll sing the Damana Ashtakam and call it an evening. What do you think? Okay. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Shri Radhe Shyam, if you so desire, please let us always live in the Dham, if not physically, then in our hearts and minds. Please let us remember all the instructions that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to all his devotees, and all the kindness and mercy that he bestowed upon them. Please let us remember everything we've read in the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita and heard. And please empower us to take up the instructions given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. Anything else? Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaura Haribo. 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo. Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo. Vanchakalpadrishcha kripasinabhevicha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.